In this episode, I'm going to show you how to change a chapter thumbnail on YouTube. Now, chapter thumbnails aren't the easiest to find, but when you actually click on a chapter, you might have seen the screen that shows all these different thumbnails for each different chapter. You might have wondered, oh, how does that get controlled? Can you change those? Is it important to make different chapter thumbnails more clickable? Is there anything you can do here to help with SEO? In this video, I'm going to answer this clearly. I'll show you what chapter thumbnails are and when they're important, and how you can use chapters strategically so you can keep people watching longer. So first, let's give a quick answer. Can you change chapter thumbnails? Well, the answer is yes and no. There's not a built-in feature to upload chapter thumbnails like there are for the video thumbnail. Wherever you put your chapter throughout your video, YouTube will auto-generate a thumbnail from a screenshot of that moment in time in your video. So if you want to pre-plan that in advance, you can take your video and at different moments of your video, you can put something on screen that you want to use as your thumbnail, and then you can start chapters at those points. Now, that sounds like a lot of work. And is it worth it? I'm going to say no. It wouldn't be worth your time at all. Most of the time when we use chapters, we don't see the thumbnails. We only see the thumbnails if we actually click on a chapter, and then down below it kind of looks like a playlist, but it's a playlist for this video. It's actually chapter by chapter. So maybe one day YouTube will start emphasizing that functionality more, but this feature's been around for a while. This isn't new. So let me show you what chapters look like, and I'll show you these thumbnails. So here's an episode that I uploaded about 11 months ago, and you can see the chapters that I have here, the different sections that I talk about. Now, in order to be able to see the chapters and thumbnails in more detail, you have to go to a chapter, and you'll see it listed right here. But if I click now on this, it opens up the chapters on the right. And so you can see the timestamps for each of those. And you'll notice by each of them, there is a screenshot of me. Now, there's only subtle variations of it because this is a talking head video. If I wanted text to be on these thumbnails, then I would have to have text on the screen right at the moment that I have those chapters. So right now we're in the middle of the chapter. If we go back to the beginning of it, you'll see it goes from me, and I start to look down at my computer. Explain. If you go into and then it jumps to this. So if I would have started the chapter just a second later, this would be what the thumbnail looks like over here. All right, so here is the thumbnail. Down at the bottom, you'll see the thumbnail. And we'll talk about YouTube thumbnails in a minute. So when I click on this video, and I'll pause it there. Chapters work a little bit differently. It shows you what I'm on. It says what YouTube paid. And I can take that red little icon and I can drag it, and you'll see the different chapters listed in the text there. So this one says make money 6 ways. So if I now click on that, then below the chapters appear. So now you can see all these different chapters with the chapter thumbnail next to it. I could see how this could be really helpful if it were a tutorial video on how to build something, and you start, you're in the middle, and you're at the end. You're going to see the progress along the way. And so the different thumbnails of the chapters would show you. It's like, I want to get to that part. So that would be helpful for a talking head video. It's not going to be very helpful to worry about the chapter thumbnails. So now that you understand that there's 2 different types of thumbnails. There's the main YouTube thumbnail, the thumbnail for your video. And if you don't say the word chapter before it, you can just assume when you're talking about your thumbnail, you're talking about the main thumbnail for your YouTube video. These are very important. You got to put a lot of energy and attention into designing a thumbnail that's going to catch people's attention and create curiosity and make them want to click. Clickbait is actually a good thing. When people are talking about, oh, you don't want clickbait, you don't want bait and switch. Bait and switch means you promise one thing but don't deliver. You deliver something else. Like if you put an elephant on your thumbnail, but there's no elephant in your video, that wouldn't make any sense. That's bait and switch. You could probably come up with a more realistic example than that, but clickbait is actually really good. It comes from the bait you put on a hook when you're fishing, right? You need to put some bait there to entice the fish to want to come and bite. In this case, you want to design a thumbnail that entices people to want to click on it. You want it to be true to your video, so what they're clicking on it for, you want them to actually get in that video. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's talk about chapters themselves. Chapters can be very, very helpful in making your video more user-friendly. Now, I would say that the chapters I set up for this video are not so, and so I'm going to demonstrate how to fix them. You find them here. This is how they're set up. You know, what YouTube paid, Noel Randall. So I've actually created my own custom GPT that will analyze these and fix them. So let me show you how this works. It's called my YouTube YouTube chapter evaluator. All right, so I need a few things. One, I need to tell it the title of the video. So I'll just put that in here. So I give it the title. I'm going to copy the chapters in there, and this GPT will know what my chapters are. So I pasted that in there, but it also wants the full transcript of my video. So for a transcript, I can come down here, show the transcript. It shows it up in the right. I can toggle off timestamp so it's easier for copy and paste. And I'll just copy all of that, and I will do a soft return and then paste that there. So now it's got my entire transcript. Watch what happens when I submit this. It's going to think for a minute, then it's going to give me a full analysis and assessment. So you can read through this if you'd like. Feel free to pause or rewind and watch this. But it says, yeah, I've got some issues. It explains why this matters. So then when I get down to the bottom, it gives me a better list of chapters. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to come back in here, and I have to click on edit video. I was just viewing the public side of this, but I can come right here and I can just replace those and hit save, and now my video will have better chapters. Now the majority of this video has been focused on the chapter thumbnail. I've created another episode that goes more in depth on creating the right chapters. We'll talk about a lot of the things that this ChatGPT tool did and why it made the decisions it did, like what makes a good chapter and what makes one that's actually not very effective. How can we ensure that your chapters are helping your videos perform better, that people will have higher watch time? So for more information on that, I'll link to that video right there. It's called How to Add Chapters to YouTube Videos. You can go watch that video next.